Hello everybody. You know, I'm pretty sure I've showed it. There's actually more than just one picture of that car sitting up here when it was wrecked. But one of them I always like showing is the one of me standing kind of next to it when I'm a little kid. But in that photo, it was ass up like that. But it was basically where that wrecked Fiat's sitting. Kind of, it's like a big circle. Alright, so the reason it's up on its nose right now, how to explain this and it make any sense? I really don't think that it's possible. What had happened is, what happened is, the clutch that I put in this car in a video behind the barn was a Hayes. And nothing against Hayes. I'm sure there's a bunch of good ones, or were a bunch of good ones. But that one, I don't believe ever was right. So we had that in this car, and couldn't ever get it to work right. Took it up to a clutch place and had them check everything, and they didn't see anything. I put it back in this car, and it's still messed up. So we took it out and put something else in this car, and then in this car, and I'm sure it was like that in this one too. I just never noticed it. You didn't have any free play for your throwout bearing. When you tightened the transmission up, it was against the throwout bearing was against the retainer for the front bearing in the Muncie. So it was already starting to push it. The throwout bearing was always against it. Now, I got that clutch given to me, and my cousin gave it to me with a bunch of other stuff. And when he had it in his 66 convertible, he said that if you ran it hard, it would slip. Well, looking back, it was probably like that then. And he didn't notice it, just like I didn't notice it the first two times in that car. Because when you bolt something together, the first thing I do is check to see that the clutch lever, the clutch arm, has movement. The problem is, I didn't realize that the bearing didn't have movement. It was moving the clutch fork on the bearing, but it wasn't moving the bearing. So I say in his 66 it was doing that, and in the 70 it was doing that, and when I tried to run it in this car it was doing that. Only in this car I noticed that when I tightened the transmission up, I could tell that it was pushing the clutch in. I could feel it pushing it in. I could hear it pushing it in. So I had to put a different clutch and pressure plate in this car. I didn't have one. That's why I was trying to run that Hayes. There's nothing wrong with the clutch disc, but the throwout bearing has an issue. I mean, the pressure plate has an issue. So I ran a brand new clutch and pressure plate that we had got for Dad's four-wheel drive. I ran it for about 500 miles, but that four-wheel drive is a hydraulic clutch, and it's kind of, to me, it makes sense that this is the issue. With the 12-inch, it never did this, but with that 11, when you're trying to slip the clutch, you can't do it. It won't let you. It's really jerky. If you had a beer in your lap, it would end up in the back seat. So, but that flywheel's not rough, and that pressure plate had just been redone. So it's my belief that that flat pressure plate for that hydraulic clutch is too sensitive for my Z-bar. So I bought another pressure plate and clutch, and an actual 11-inch for this car, and you know it's a new one. It could be junk from the beginning. It's an impact. Who knows? It'll be good or it won't be. But Rock Auto special. So new collection pressure plate. Taking the transmission back out, redoing that, putting it back together. But while it's up here, it's the reason I've got the ass lifted off the ground. I'm replacing all the bushings in the rear end. All of them. Because the rear end bushings are shot. I could try to show you, but I'll show you this in another video. When you're hitting a bump or anything, you hear and feel the rear end of this car just knocking around everywhere. So when you try to spin with that rear end like that, it wheel hops. It didn't used to when I first started driving it. It wouldn't wheel hop. But now, since those bushings have beat out of it, because they were original bushings, as old as the car, it's beat out of it. So now I'm having to put bushings in it. But so yeah, upcoming video for this real soon will be clutch swap. I'm actually going to try to show more. I'm actually going to try to do it like I did that Neon and show you everything. And bushings on the rear end. I hope you enjoy these. Hope you enjoyed this one. I want to thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.